Hello. Today I am celebrating a little bit of good news from work. So I am going to have some fun, and I'm going to take a couple of the things that I've been working on in Blender and try to turn them into an add-on. I don't anticipate anybody's going to use the add-on, but I am still going to do it because I think it should make it a little bit easier for me to be able to track what I'm doing across different systems and really package it all up nicely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's get started here. Today I'm going to listen to animals as leaders. I'm going to make a new directory. Oh, hold on. Let me put you in the upper right. I'm going to make a new directory for I'll just call it Blender extension for now, but we'll come up with a better name later on. I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code in that directory. Yeah, I trust the authors. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is right here in this directory, I'm going to use my Blender API. And actually, I'm going to give it a second so that it can start up. Okay, so it should be all started up. Let's go ahead and Blender, new add-on. Okay, I'm going to do with auto load because that's how I kind of want to get started. My add-on name, we'll call this Blender EXT. You know what? Let me give it a name that I can change easily, and then I'll quit out of VS Code and put it all back in. How about? Oops, that canceled it. Yeah, you know what? Let's just get out of here and we'll come up with a nice name. What's a synonym for reason? That's a good one. Let's see. Synonym for reason. N-O-U-S, what does that mean? I'll call it that. We'll call it DXL Noose. Alright, let's load that up. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to convert it to, I'm going to pull a bunch of my other things in and then convert them there. Alright, so new Blender add-on with auto load. We're going to name it DXL Noose. My name. I'm not going to support legacy versions. Okay, I guess I'll change the name. We'll open that. Yeah, I trust the authors. So let's take a look. Yeah, it automatically changed it. Alright, let me go ahead and we will that's not what I wanted. Now, we're going to have to do some stuff because I don't know how it's got the various different things set up. But here, let me just remove this from the workspace. Okay, get init. Okay, so now all this stuff, I don't quite know yet how this is all going to work. It's my first time making an extension. So I'm going to go ahead and here inside my init, let's see, how does auto load work? Looks like it pulls import modules in. Oh, it pulls in a whole bunch of modules. Oh, nice. So it should auto load everything. Let me take a look at how this This is another module that I've used in the past. It looks like they set it up basically the same way, although they don't have auto load. They've got absolute path and things like that. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Looks like they've got an operators directory. They've got an API. That's something that we import from. That's actually the script. Got examples. So all right, let's go ahead and I want to create a new folder. Operators. Okay. It's now inside operators. New file. Blender new operator. Operator load color maps. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be a real simple one. And then we're going to test it out to see how it works. So here, import CMs. We're going to import bpy, import cmyt, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Alrighty. So now we've got all those, import numpy as np. So we've got access to all that stuff. So we've got our load color maps operator, bpy types operator, execute. Inside our execute, we're going to copy all this stuff that we did before. We'll have our vals. I'm going to put my array inside there for cmap name. You know what? Gotta do it again. Okay. So we've got cmap name. So let's see if this actually just works. Okay. So I don't actually know how any of this is going to go. Let's give it a shot. Let's try loading Blender. What does this say? Executing task. Cancel. Okay, I'll just let that update while it's going, but let's do VS Code development is incompatible. Key ID invalid, not a valid identifier. What? Unable to parse the manifest. Let's take a look at the manifest. Oh, there's the manifest. Let's try quitting. Starting it over. Let's see if it throws any errors. Executing task. Okay. So let's take a look here at preferences. Let's see if our add-on is started. It is. Awesome. All right. So now let's see how we start to expose these different things. So we got to figure out how to make an operator show up. think what we do is we create a panel, and then we add this to that panel. So let's try doing that. So this is a bpytypes operator. Let's do class DXL news panel bpytypes panel. Yeah, we'll do it in the window. Now I don't know what different contexts there are. So let's see, context, region type. Let's see, this is BL underscore context. Let's see, what are my options here? I guess if I do it in options, it should show up. I guess render. Let's give that a shot. So we've got that now. Now it should show up as a render. So now we go back to creating our panel. So now let's do definition draw self context self.layout.label text equals DXL new. Okay, now we'll see if it auto registers. The auto load seems to suggest to me that it should. Okay, so let's take a look here. So object, let's see, properties window. So properties. That's material data. Let's see. Maybe we should try one where it's actually just showing up in. So one issue with this here is that there are two different ways that this could be going wrong. One, I'm not looking in the right spot, and two, I might be not registering it properly. So I guess the thing to do here is try registering it, I suppose. Okay, the add-ons have been updated. So let's see. Animation, constraints, data materials, physics, particles, modifiers, object. Nope. Okay. So it's a panel, not a So this is the right object. Custom properties animation. So it's starting to look to me like maybe it's not actually showing up because I don't have the object registered. So you know what I could do? Just raise a runtime error. If that is indeed what happens. It did not auto-load. Alright, so I'm not understanding how auto-load works. Let's take a look again here, how it's doing it. Get all submodules. This is where it should output, I think. Yeah, it's registering. Okay, so ordered classes doesn't actually get it. So let's take a look. Get all submodules. Iter submodules. Directory pack. Oh, let's try this. New file. Init.py. All right, now let's try reloading the add-ons. Awesome. Now we've got our load color maps. Operator should show up somewhere here. Transform relations, collections, instancing, motion path, shading, visibility, viewport display, animation, custom properties. Nope. But it is printing our class, so it should be auto-loading it. All right. BL ID name is object PT. Hello. Okay. Label DXL news. Space name properties. Region type window. BL context. Oh, render. Oh, dang. So if I go over here to render, it should show up. There it is. Oh, how fun. Awesome. All right. So we don't probably want it in there eventually. We want it in like the scene info. Maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe under world, maybe under collection. I don't know. Let's try world. Okay, now let's come up with a way to actually call it. So let's do that. We add an operator here. So now let's do self.layout.label, self.layout.row.operator. Why does it say object.load color maps? Oh, because it's right there. All right, let's give it a shot. So now here under where did I put it under? I put it under world. Name array is not defined. Perfect. Oh, things are starting to work out. Okay. Okay, let me take a look real quick at my ZSH here. Array is defined as that. And one thing that I noticed in other stuff was that I want to make sure that it gets its own array each time. So let's reload it. All right, we've got our color maps now. So if I go over to image editor, they all are. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Algae. Oh, apricity. That one is sounds a good one, or at least one that I like because it conveys what it is. Okay. All right. So we've got our color map loading. What? Okay. Yeah, returns a set. All right. So now let's start loading some other things in here. That's our color map load. What else do we want? Let's see here. This does our sphere. No, we don't want to do our spherical harmonics necessarily. All right, let's take a look at apply color map. That's going to be on load. It's going to create some items. So it's going to create some node trees. I mean, ultimately, I'm not sure that I want all these things to be operators as opposed to having them each be just sort of auto-loaded as add-ons and whatnot. So we'll have to see. Oh, right. But for now, we'll do it that way. So operators, new file. These really are material trees, but or not material trees. Really, they're geometry nodes. But we'll give it a shot. Okay. Spherical coordinates. So, what different types of things can you do with these operators? It looks for panel operator property group add-on preferences, header mode node socket node tree UI list, render engine gizmo and gizmo group. So let's try. Let's call this an operator, and really it'll just be registering all the nodes. I wonder what happens if I just put in here. Let's cat this here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's do this. Let's give this a shot. So we'll import this and we'll set it all up here. This should add a spherical coordinates operator to it. So now if I reload the add-ons, let's see what my, enabling the add-on failed. Let's see. Is it getting loaded before? The other one, yeah, I think it is. So let's put this over here, and we'll put this in as an operator. And I know that's not really the right thing to do, but it is what we're going to try out for now. Object dot load, oh here, class spherical coordinates operator. I mean, this should probably be like a node or something like that, but BL label spherical coordinates def execute. And does that get a context as well? It does. Sure, we'll type annotate it. Most of the work happens here inside the descriptor, or the decorator. So let's see what happens when we reload now. Okay, so that still didn't work. I think because it is trying to load these things in there at the top level. We will all right, so now that doesn't show up in the panel, but we will do that over here. Operator object dot spherical coordinates. Reload the add-on. Okay, so now if I go over here to world, is it world? Yeah, spherical coordinates. If we look here, no nodes are there. Take a look now, we've got a spherical coordinates. So if we're on our cube, we call new, we get our spherical coordinates. So in some sense, this is, I don't know, it's probably not the best way to do this because it, because in principle I should be just adding all these different trees or storing them in a library somewhere or something like that, but it works nicely enough. All right, so we've got spherical coordinates. We've got our color maps loaded. Let's see, what were the other things that I added in? I guess okay, so we will do, okay. Yep, all right, so now we will also add on these nodes here. So importing node script, so this all happens inside execute. So now go to our Blender, seems like it worked. Now when I do load color maps, it should create new geometry nodes for color mapped mesh. Okay, so we've got our color mapped mesh, our group input there. So now let's come up with a property. So we will store a named attribute here This will be, the name will be random val. The geometry will come in from there. Geometry will go out there. We will say that it will have a random value from 0 to 1. It'll be stored on our geometry. And now the property will be a string called random val. Okay. Now, where this gets a little bit finicky is we don't have a shader material set up just yet. So we'll go to our shader editor. Okay. Actually, that's not, sorry. We will do here inside color mapped mesh. We will do edit group. You see here it doesn't actually store a material on it. So let's go ahead and here inside material, we've got apply color map. This one now, we edit our group. I don't know why it always has two levels to it. We will apply Arbra as our color map. So this stores it all, okay. And now back here at our top level, we will set a material. And that material will be color map. So let's see what it does. Nothing yet. Oh, there we go. So we see we've now applied a color map mesh to it. All right. And if we subdivide our mesh, see we get lots and lots and lots of them. Very nice. All right. So let's go back here. I want to try here in this material tree to set material index. So that would be gs.set material. Actually, it's not set material index. Geometry equals stored material equals apply color map. Return that. Okay, so now let's reload our add-ons. And now we re-execute them. And we see here, inside set color, we shouldn't need to do that. Let's edit our group. We'll see if it actually sets it. It does. It sets the material. So now let's go back up. And over here, where it defines that, we will have it define an image. Awesome. Okay. Thank you. I'm not even wearing a robe, but I could call myself a wizard. Here, hold on, wait. Hold on. I think I have a... this one.
You know, they're easy to follow when they use their turn signal.
I don't know if the audio came through. This, Crow saying, sure, they're easy to follow when they use their turn signals. Just to indicate I am following a lot of tutorials and things like that here to learn all this. Okay, so now if we could figure out how to get a color map in here, that would be nice. And now that we're also putting all this inside, oh good. Now that we're putting all this inside an add-on, we want this color maps, operators, init, operators, spherical coordinates. Now let's copy a readme. This is an experimental repository for using Blender, using useful data viz functions in Blender. Noose is allegedly a synonym for reason, which has traditionally, yeah, it does, been the name of every single YT GUI, so I couldn't let it go. Alright, and I think I need a license file. All this stuff, I'm pretty sure they strongly encourage GPL licensing, so I'm going to go ahead and let's grab a copy from here, one of the other Blender add-ons. Do I have to put my name or anything in any of this? Good. Initial, thanks Paul, import. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's go back here. We've got our spherical coordinates, all that stuff. So now we've got this. What would be nice is if here inside our object, we had a property that this grabbed from in order to get the image. So let's see, how would we mock that up inside here? Add input, object info. No. Input. What I want to do is I want to associate a texture with it. So there's got to be a way to specify that. What type of values? Nope. Can't do it there. Image. Nope. Nope. Can't do any of that. Alright. I guess for now, I want to be able to set the image appropriately. But for now, that'll just have to be sort of, I guess, a global setting. So one thing we could, in principle, do is use object properties to select image. Blender. I guess here, let's take a look. What kind of material? I guess really what I want is I want this material to have some sort of a property or setting associated with it. Material settings, custom properties, new. Okay, come on. Let me edit this property. Type, data block, Python, data block? No, that's not what I want. Nope. Wait, what's it doing when I change that? Oh, data block, ID type, image. Okay. Property name, color map. Okay. Object info. Okay, so now I've got my custom properties. Oh, I'm supposed to put my name and copyright on it? Okay, hold on. Well, I guess now that I've committed it, it's forever in the public domain. I'll put this inside init. I guess autoload probably already has it. No, it doesn't. I'll put it in the README. Ugh. Oh, here we go. It's already in there. I'll put my name in it. This is DXL News, a collection of Blender operator panels that enable data viz functions I find useful. Copyright. Okay. Now let's get rid of the changes to the README because do I specifically say 3+ in here? That's a good question. Who is David Nix? Let's find out. If I go back in here to init, why is it not changing my view? Let's go back in here to init. Copyright 2025, David L. Nix. Is that like a Linux gag? Let me see. David L. Nix. Not seeing anything pop up that much. This is very odd, yeah. Well, here we go. All right. Okay. I think I'm getting a little ready to move on to a different piece of music. Let me quick change this up. This is a good one. My friend Madikin told me about this years and years and years ago, and then I finally got around to listening to it like last year, and it's just amazing. Okay. Let's go ahead back here. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was trying to set up custom properties. How do I specify custom properties? Um, Only certain data support custom properties. So I think I might need to like use a driver here. Let's find out. Copy the RNA data path for this. Add input attribute, color vec. Oh, I can't even, there's no way to connect it there, huh? Well, all right, I guess maybe this is just not gonna work. I guess the way to do this would probably be to understand better how materials work inside this, and then apply the, yeah, it's probably, what I would probably need to do is I would need to understand better how the images are associated with an individual item. I guess let's come back down here to my geometry nodes. Input image. So I've got my image texture, and this really is what I want. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's not exactly what I want to continue getting going. So let's go back here. We've got color maps, spherical coordinates, readme. Okay, let's see. Got our spherical coordinates. What I really need is I need, well no, none of this actually needs to be automated. Let's go back to my spreadsheet view. Got my geometry. They've got random values. It gets set to a color map value, and it'll auto scale. Let's close this down. So now I've got my color maps. They show up under world, load color maps, spherical coordinates. So let's subdivide our mesh. I'm going to see if I can come up with a button to add. Well, actually, nah, I'll just do it right here. Normalize. No, math. Vector math. Right. Position. We will set the position to the normalized read position. And so now we've got this. You can see clearly the distortion from mapping this sphere into a or mapping this cube into a sphere. And ideally, that's what we want to get out of this by applying spherical coordinates and whatnot, and then using those for the hierarchical equal area latitudinal projection with HealPy. If I go up, you'll see even more clearly it really is just a sphere that's been messed up. So let's get back to what we wanted to import. We've got our spherical coordinates operator. It'll generate spherical coordinates. Here we've got some sphere perturbations. Is that what does it? That does our time varying radial sphere, emitted sphere. I think what I need to do is put my orbit visualizer in here. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little bit more, let's do orbit operators. Thank you. Hope you do too. Have a good lunch. We'll call this orbits. You know what? Maybe this would be a lot easier. Add-ons depending on add-ons in Blender. So you know what? Maybe this might be something that's in the Blender manifest. Blender add-on dependencies. So really what I want to do is I want to have I don't really want to do this, bundling dependencies. So I guess, let's see. Example, combined add-on. Supposedly I can change the order by dragging and dropping these. Let's see. Nope. So because I named it this, I bet if I named it something different, it would have it would come up later. Um, hmm. This one's a little bit weird. Somebody does have a solution for this, but I don't know that it's a good one. So let's take a look at it. And what it does here, and it happens all inside the register. What it does is if bpi context user preferences add-ons -1 module is not that, so this happens inside register. And let's see. So add-on.module is module name. I don't know about this. I guess now I need an else here. Enabling the add-on failed. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, this is from like a bajillion years ago. So this gets called. Wonder if I can defer. Blender add-on initialization. Yeah, this is all to get around gating my imports and putting them all inside functions and whatnot. It seems like it would be easier to instead um, not execute the functions until they need to be. So, but the auto load gets in the way of that by importing all of them. maybe I'm just making this way too complicated. So, I mean, I probably am. Let's get back to registering these orbit loaders. Okay. There we go. I guess I don't ever use that, so. All right, that'll be our input group. This relies on the CSV importer and bpy. bpy's got to go up to the top. So down here, this is my function that I'm going to glob. Blender property types file path. So I think what I want to do is we want to have, one thing you can do is you can annotate panels. So I'm not sure anymore. This is such a nice way to write these things, but what we'll do, so we'll put this stuff in there. And then we'll put all of this in here. And so now we should be able to reload our add-on. Yep, it did. Okay, and so now it doesn't actually call the orbits, but I will, let's add that into our color maps just as an experiment, and then I'll ditch it later. Okay, so now when I load the color maps, it'll also load the orbits. Let's see if that actually works. Not quite, actually. Somehow my NumPy got upgraded. That's annoying. But it does seem to do sort of what I'm looking for. I got our positions, they're all set to 0. Okay. Orbits.generate trees. Okay. acquisitions from CSV. Yeah, all right. So we are basically back to where I wanted to be, and oops, that's the wrong directory. Okay. So I've gotten basically where I want to go. Um, well, no, there's a lot more to do, but I've started packaging everything up as a pretty basic and not super well thought out Blender add-on that I'm going to be able to start using and reloading, and hopefully next time I'll be able to convert it into something that auto loads, and maybe I'll even get the various different add-on dependencies worked out. So thanks very much for hanging out, and let's see, I'm going to call it right there. Have a good weekend.